Chapter 41. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After doing all this, Zixiao put the black knife back into his Qianquan ring. He slapped his hands a few times, and it seemed that there was invisible dust on them. It's time to call it a day. Old Qian, do you have any sense? I'm in this state, why don't you help me? Come, young master. Before Zixiao spoke, Manager Qian was in a state of confusion, seeing that Lord Long from Qilian City died in front of him. The shock really made him not know what to say. Even the palace master of Qilian City would be a little afraid of that lord. Just when Manager Qian stepped forward to help Zixiao, the whole city began to tremble wildly, the earth shook, buildings collapsed, and the Dao rhyme of the 3,000 avenues was even more chaotic. What happened? What happened again? Both Manager Qian and Xiao Chui were about to collapse. Who could bear this continuous stimulation? Mountains overturned, rivers flowed back, and the scene of the sky falling and the earth collapsing was like the end of the world. Cracks appeared in the earth in the center of the city, as if something was about to emerge from it. Boom! At this moment, there was a loud bang, and the earth completely collapsed. A giant hand covered with spikes stretched out from it. The moment the hand appeared, the surrounding space began to collapse. It seemed that the heaven and earth would not allow this creature to wake up. Boom boom boom. The earth was still making a continuous wail. The giant hand was getting higher and higher until it covered the entire city and the entire sky. Then, the hand slapped Zixiao fiercely. The giant hand that covered the sky suddenly descended from the clouds, carrying the breath of destroying the world. This giant hand seemed to be the anger of the gods, making the whole world tremble. It was said before that there were cultivators from various forces in Qilian City, and there were many cultivators with outstanding cultivation, but even they, when facing the giant hand that covered the sky, their spiritual power was obscure and exhausted. The aura of the gods alone made it difficult for them to resist. If they did not stop it, let alone Zixiao, the city would be destroyed in an instant. At this time, an ethereal voice resounded through the world. How dare you! The misty white dress danced slightly in the wind, and a jade-like hand gently slapped the sky. Pop! It was as if a drop of rain fell in the sea. Countless white spiritual powers rushed towards the giant hand that destroyed the world and the sky. Boom! The sky and the earth lost their color instantly. The roar made everyone temporarily deaf, and the shining light made people cry unconsciously. Thousands of mountains around Qilian City collapsed at the same time. This collision shocked the universe, and the existence of major holy places and forbidden areas was revived. Because the impact was too great, the breath and fluctuations of the Supreme swept the universe. Above the sky, cracks are appearing one after another. There seems to be a golden liquid surging in the cracks, until it drops to the ground drop by drop. Every drop that falls will make a bottomless chasm appear on the ground. The sky is bloody, and the mountains are collapsing. The battle of the Supreme is so terrifying. Compared with it, the so-called Lord Long, who is obviously at the level of the Saint King, is like a baby in front of this great power. Buzz, the Qilian City formation pattern, which had already been broken, is constantly flashing with light. This is the smart people in the city activating the formation. The aura of the Supreme is extraordinary. Even if it is not directed at them, they may be affected. This is not the real battle of the Supreme. It is unknown how long it took for the earth to gradually return to peace. Zixiao and others opened their eyes and saw only the ruins around them. If the Qilian City had not been activated because of the formation pattern, this huge city that was like a small world might not even have ruins left. The giant hand above the sky has disappeared. Piao Miao stood there without moving, but her already snow-white face became even more pale. Zixiao walked forward and asked tentatively, "Elder Piao Miao, are you okay?" Piao Miao looked at Zixiao with a smile and said, "What do you think?" Elder Piao Miao has great magical powers. He can just wave his hand and the enemy will definitely be wiped out. It was the kid who overstepped his bounds. By the way, it just so happens that my wife is about to give birth, so I'll leave first. After that, Zixiao gave Manager Qian a call. With a wink, he asked the other party to help him leave quickly. If it weren't for the fact that his spiritual energy was exhausted and his body was half disabled, even if he crawled, he would have crawled away from this place of wrong. Manager Qian didn't seem to notice Zixiao's gaze, and was staring blankly at the ruins around him. not knowing what he was thinking, this is a finished thing. Xiao was angry and refused to argue, but now was not the time to care so much. He took out the black knife from the storage space again, inserted it into the ground as a support, and left step by step towards the distance. At this moment, the ethereal voice sounded faintly behind Xiao. "Little guy, where are you going?" Hearing this, Xiao's body stiffened, and he turned around slowly, with a forced smile on his face. "Well, Elder Pianmio, I'm thinking about things here, and my wife is about to give birth, so I should go back anyway." "Ah. Oh." Pianmio waved her little hand lightly and said in surprise, "So you still have a wife? That's fine. Take your wife and go back to the sect with me." "Go back to the sect?" The corners of Xiao's mouth twitched slightly. "I said, Elder Pianmio, how can I, the boy Hida, worship under your sect? What's more, I'm still covered in injuries. Even if I want to worship into your sect, I still have to wait for my injuries." "All right. Call out." Before Xiao could finish speaking, a strong wind struck. Pianmio shot a pill directly into Xiao's mouth. Gulu. Xiao swallowed it subconsciously. After the pill entered his abdomen, a warm current swept through Xiao's whole body. The broken bones continued to fuse, and the messy injuries inside began to heal as the medicine took effect. "This is holy medicine." Manager Qian was dumbfounded. The value of the holy medicine was immeasurable. It was second only to the imperial medicine and the immortal medicine. The latter two could instantly restore Dao injuries and even allow the emperor to live another life. The holy medicine has the miraculous effect of killing human flesh and bones. Even if the monk has only one breath left, he can be brought back instantly by the holy medicine. This is the magic of holy medicine. Although Xiao's injury was serious, it was far from the level that required holy medicine. Bang bang bang. Xiao's body emitted bursts of bone noise, which was proof of his recovery. Being able to make such a sound proves how strong his body is. Even if he does not use this holy medicine, it is enough to use ordinary panacea to regulate his breathing for a period of time. Manager Qian had a look of pain on his face. Chapter 42. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soon, all the injuries on Xiao's body recovered. Puff. Suddenly, Xiao spit out another mouthful of blood, which was black. Brother Zi, Sui Yuanfei hurried forward and was about to say something when he was interrupted by Xiao with a gesture. He used the heaven burial technique and took out the black coffin. It would be strange if he didn't get backlash. How could it be easy to fight against the Holy King with distraction? Pianmio obviously saw Xiao's problem and took out the holy medicine, but she didn't expect that the injury could not be completely recovered. Pianmio frowned slightly, walked forward and directly held Xiao's hand. A chill hit his hand, which made Xiao's mind shake. He seemed to think of a figure in his mind, but he shook his head quickly and completely forgot the charming feeling. "You got a Taoist injury," Pianmio said lightly. "What? You got a Taoist injury?" Manager Qian and Zui Yuanfei were all shocked. This Taoist injury was not a joke. If it was not cured in time, the Taoist path would be destroyed at the least, and the Taoist path would disappear and die at the worst. Even the emperor was very secretive about this injury. "Come back to Yaoguang Holy Land with me, I will ask for the emperor medicine for you." Pianmio held Xiao's hand a little harder. The latter smiled bitterly. "Elder Pianmio, I know my own situation, so I won't take up the quota of your direct disciple. Even if I am cured, I may be a waste. Why waste a plant of imperial medicine? No, come back to the Holy Land with me." Pianmio changed his previous gentle appearance and treated Xiao as if he were his own child, with a slightly harsh tone. Brother Zi, Sui Yuanfei also hurriedly persuaded, "I know you have a noble character and don't eat food given out of pity, but after all, the three books of heaven, earth and man have taken the initiative to recognize you as their master. You are already a disciple of Elder Pianmio, that is, our junior uncle. If you are afraid that Elder Pianmio will embarrass you, please rest assured. I have made many contributions to the sect and have never asked for any rewards. After all, as a disciple of Yaoguang Holy Land, this is what I should do. But this time, I will make an exception." Even if I have to pay everything, I will ask for the imperial medicine for you. Looking at Sui Yuanfei's deep affection look, Zixiao felt a chill in his heart. You are the son of destiny, can you be a little reserved? And you still desperately ask for the imperial medicine for me? I am a villain, we are enemies, do you understand? Originally, joining Yaoguang Holy Land was actually a good choice, but before knowing that Sui Yuanfei was the son of destiny, this made Zixiao directly give up this idea. What a joke, finally leaving Tianxian Holy Land, leaving Linyi, here comes Sui Yuanfei again. Is it over? Even if Piao Miao and Sui Yuanfei and others have no misunderstandings about him now, after a long time, Tian Dao will definitely take action again. Isn't it going to repeat the plot of Tianxian Holy Land again? No, no. I can't go there even if I die. As for this wound, it has no effect at all. He is a man who once had a system, there are countless good things in the storage space. Are you afraid that there is no holy object to treat Dao injuries? Even if there is really no, with his huge reserve of spirit stones, at most he can just pay a high price to buy one, a mere Dao injury has no effect at all. You must go back with me. Just now, I fought with the city lord of Qilian City, but I didn't hurt him. I guess he will come to you after I leave, and... When he said this, Piao Miao looked into the distance. If I'm not mistaken, the 10,000 demon realm has also sent people here. After all, you are the demon child they want to get. What? Zixiao was really embarrassed now. He wanted to live a low-key life and stay away from the Son of Destiny, but he never thought of joining the demon path. Not to mention, according to the normal routine, the Son of Destiny will sooner or later deal with the daughter of the demon path. If one accidentally becomes a stepping stone, there is really no place to cry. The most urgent thing is to have a backer. He played all his cards, but he didn't kill Lord Long, who had the cultivation of a Saint King. He was saved by the arrival of Piao Miao. If the Supreme came, he would probably be dead. Zixiao knew in his heart that he was not a son of destiny. Whenever he was in a desperate situation, he could not only escape, but also get a lot of opportunities. Even if he uninstalled the system, he was still in the book, villain. This is a label given by the heavens. It is impossible to take it down, but, Zixiao glanced at the fairy in front of him, his brain twisting wildly. Is he really going to join Yaoguang Holy Land and become that little uncle? Brother Z. Don't think about it. If you trust me, come back to Yaoguang Holy Land with us. Even if we are enemies with the world, my Yaoguang Holy Land will definitely protect you. I, Sui Yuanfei, will always stand in front of you. It would be better if Sui Yuanfei didn't say anything. When he said that, Zixiao felt even more uncertain. What are you talking about? Be enemies with the world? Why should I be enemies with the world? Ah, you are the son of destiny, then I understand. Just as Sui Yuanfei was speaking his heart out, Zixiao came to Manager Qian and whispered, Old Qian, now that Qilian City has become like this, can you still arrange a witch for me? Manager Qian looked at Zixiao with a smile on his face. He never thought that the other party would still be in this mood. Elder Piao Miao just said that the city lord of Qilian City wanted his life. Things are really getting serious. If he is targeted by a supreme being, he really won't have enough lives. Piao Miao was speechless when he looked at the disciple he had identified. Seeing that he had no intention of leaving, he didn't waste any words. He lightly tapped his jade fingers, and the white spiritual power turned into a rope and tied Zixiao up. Wait a minute. Elder Piao Miao. What are you doing? I didn't agree to you. Do you still want to force it? Zixiao said in shock. If someone else said this nonsense to Piao Miao, it is estimated that even his ashes would be scattered. Sui Yuanfei's heart was also beating fast, fearing that his own grand elder would attack Brother Z. Of course, if that happened, he would definitely stand in front of Brother Z. Who would have thought that Piao Miao actually nodded as if it was a matter of fact? Little guy, since the 3 books of heaven, earth, and man have already given you the master, then I will force you to be my disciple. Don't struggle, it's useless to scream. Hearing Piao Miao's words, Zixiao was speechless for a while, thinking to himself, did you secretly take the wrong script? What kind of lewd words are these? You and Faye, you guys come back to the sect with me. After all, that person here is probably going to be furious, and it's inevitable that you will be involved. Yes. Grand Elder. Of course, the disciples of Yaoguang Holy Land would not disobey Piaomiao's words. Chapter 46. You are listening at NaVoFull.audio. The two of them were so angry that the Holy Lord Yaoguang was so angry that he wanted to chop them with a knife. However, after thinking about it, it seemed that he might not be able to defeat these unscrupulous people. For the sake of his own face, he decided to forget it. Nonsense, of course, this Holy Lord has prepared a gift for my junior brother. The Taiji Hall will be my junior brother's residence in the future. The Holy Lord Yaoguang said proudly. What? Taiji Palace? Are you serious? When did our senior brother, who has always been stingy, become so generous that he even gave out the Taiji Palace? Don't you prepare it for your own disciples? Prepare for nothing. Yaoguang's Saint Lord said with a look of disdain, how can I not know the quality of my disciple? Living in Taiji Palace? She is worthy of it. Ha 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 ha, senior brother is worthy of being the senior brother. We respect you so much. That's right. Senior brother has learned the trick of not sacrificing the child to catch the wolf. He has finally grown up. Senior brother is farsighted. I admire you. Yaoguang Holy Land obviously enjoyed the perfunctory flattery of several people, and had a look of enjoyment on his face. By the way, you old fellows, please pay attention. It is said that this genius was kidnapped by our Supreme Elder. Tell the gatekeeper disciples to open the sect protection formation for me recently and summon all the disciples back to the mountain. During this period, only entry and no exit are allowed. I don't know if the Holy Lord of Tianxian Holy Land has had a brain twitch recently. She is willing to release such a disciple. Tianxian Holy Land doesn't want him, but Yaoguang Holy Land wants him. Okay. I'll arrange it. That when they heard that Zixiao was kidnapped by their own Supreme Elder, how could they not understand the seriousness of the matter? They turned around and walked towards the gate of the Holy Land. What? The sect protection formation requires a huge amount of spirit stones and secret treasures. It's a waste. In order to keep this top genius, it's worth it. In the Holy Land, there is a place with the most spiritual energy. This place is different from other palaces. It seems that there is only this palace within 1,000 miles, the elegant courtyard, with exotic flowers and plants competing for beauty, small bridges and flowing water, and rockery standing in a forest, is like a fairyland. Here, the immortal cultivators can definitely calm down to practice and absorb the essence of heaven and earth. The palace is surrounded by auspicious clouds and mist, adding a mysterious atmosphere. There is a plaque above. The three gilded characters of Taiji Hall are hung in it, and the wisps of Taoism are entangled on it, which looks particularly worldly. Squeak. At this time, a handsome man pushed open the door and walked out. He saw the surrounding scenery and did not enjoy it. Instead, he looked bitter, as if someone owed him 18 million spirit stones. This person is Zixiao. After being brought back to the sect by the woman with a big weapon, the other party threw him directly into this palace and sealed his cultivation. As a result, now let alone escaping, he can't even practice. It is worth mentioning that his cultivation has broken through to the middle stage of distraction. It was a blessing in disguise. Cough cough. Zixiao suddenly couldn't control himself and started to cough violently. From the gaps between his hands, black blood flowed out. Injury. This is the most difficult injury to treat. If there is no imperial medicine and immortal medicine, it will take at least 1,800 years to heal by itself, and only a genius can do it. Otherwise, he will definitely die in the end. Piaomiao sealed Zixiao's cultivation. In addition to preventing him from escaping, there is another thing, that is, Dao injury. Once the spiritual power is used, this Dao injury will be like a maggot attached to the bone, constantly drilling into the sea of qi. If the entire sea of qi is really eroded by the Dao injury, then even the gods will be difficult to save. Looking at the black blood on his hand, Zixiao was speechless. What kind of punishment is this? Damn dragon breath. if it weren't for you, this bastard, would I be so impulsive? Do you know how much I have to pay for summoning the black coffin once? Asshole, don't say that you have the Supreme behind you, even if you have the Emperor behind you, I will kill you. It hurts so much, Zixiao wailed. At this moment, a white and noble crane flew over from the sky, and its cry was crisp and pleasant, like the sound of nature. At first glance, the person standing on the crane was not that Piao Miao, or, who could it be? Although Zixiao's cultivation was sealed, he still had good eyesight. When he saw Piao Miao, a fairy-like figure, his eyes were not only not amazed, but also filled with a bit of resentment. He could find a way to treat the Dao injury, but the other party actually tied him up directly to the Yaoguang Holy Land, in front of so many people. Needless to say, the Tianxian Holy Land must have received the news, and if he really joined this sect, history would probably repeat itself. When misunderstandings arise one after another, doesn't it mean that he will have to go through the experience of the Tianxian Holy Land again? What's the point of playing? If he has that spare time, he might as well listen to more music in the brothel. After all, Manager Qian has prepared a witch for him. Now the witch is gone, everything is gone. Piao Miao is indeed the most perfect woman Zixiao has ever seen, especially her terrifying figure. I really don't know how mature, intellectual, cold, and beautiful figure can appear in one person. But it is obvious that Zixiao can't afford to offend this person. Against the Holy King, he risked his life but only broke one of his horns. Against the Supreme, there is no possibility of victory or escape. When Zixiao was daydreaming, the crane in the sky had already landed on the ground. Piao Miao's jade feet in white embroidered shoes lightly tapped and floated from the crane to Zixiao. I really don't know how cute the jade feet inside will be if I take off that shoe. Snap. Zixiao suddenly slapped himself. Wake up. What are you thinking about? Jade will only hurt you. Seeing Zixiao's actions, Piao Miao's beautiful eyes like autumn water were obviously stunned, but then he came back to his senses and said with a smile, "What's wrong? Little guy, has your wound relapsed? But it's useless to abuse yourself. Senior you. Bah. That. Senior Piao Miao." Zixiao almost called the other party's name wrong, and quickly changed his words. "My injury is no longer a problem. Thank you for your help. I wonder if I can leave now." Just when Zixiao was about to find a reason for the other party to let him go, a fragrant breeze filled his nose. Piao Miao came in front of him, stretched out a white and tender hand, and placed it on Zixiao's chest. "Senior," Zixiao spoke carefully. He had no idea what Piao Miao was doing. Was he here for his beauty? Chapter 47. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. The old man was so angry that he was not happy. Piao Miao didn't say anything. Her beautiful eyes stared at Zixiao, making the latter feel cold all over. What's going on? Is he being used as a furnace for himself? After all, I read a lot of novels about that in my previous life, but I don't have the physique of a succubus. Is it just because of the charm aura? While Piao Miao was staring at Zixiao, Zixiao also secretly opened the eye of insight. Name, Piao Miao, bone age, 346. Cultivation, middle stage of supreme realm, special physique, moon fairy body, tags, mature and intellectual, gifted, lucky husband, 3 lives, destiny girl, smooth sailing, talented and beautiful, devilish figure, recent opportunities, obtained moon fairy tears in the forbidden zone in 3 days, comprehended the secret of moon fairy body in the enlightenment room in half a month. Comprehended the 3 books of heaven, earth and man in 3 months, and in half a year, destiny girl. Sure enough, Zixiao's eyes became more alert. It's not like he hasn't met destiny girls before. Where there are destiny sons, there will inevitably be destiny girls. Although the two complement each other, they don't necessarily end up together. His master and junior sister are both destiny girls. This so-called daughter of destiny can be said to be someone favored by the way of heaven, not just to be paired with the son of destiny, but since she is related to the way of heaven, she must be standing on the opposite side of herself, as a member of the villain camp. Zixiao doesn't know what good will happen to him if he stays with the other party for a long time. That's right. Since the cultivation level has been improved, it seems that he hasn't looked at his own panel. Anyway, Piao Miao has been silent, and Zixiao once again puts his thoughts on himself. Name, Zixiao, bone age, 18 years old, cultivation, mid-stage of the spiritual division realm, sealed. Constitution, primitive heavenly demon body, ancient double pupils, skills, heaven burial skill, 8 desolations magic skill, Tianxian magic, Hunyuan Wuji holy skill, eye of insight, martial arts, great power heavenly dragon, heaven burial finger, heavenly tribulation light, blood battle in 8 desolations, double pupil armor, Lingxiao sword skill, prison killing sword, thunderpong, etc. Magic weapon, black knife knight, ordinary Qiankuan ring, aura, villain aura, charm aura, transcendent aura. Tags, big villain, junior master Yaoguang, proud talent, exiled immortal, unlucky fate, peach blossom tribulation, peach blossom luck, short-lived person, sky thief. The eye of insight is very random every time I look at someone else or at myself, except for those important tags. The others are quite random. For example, the skills and magic weapons may not be seen in many cases. It's not because the eye of insight is rubbish. On the contrary, this eye of insight is a skill that can be upgraded. This time, when Zixiao was investigating himself, he found options that had never appeared before. For example, the halo and the label. When he had the system before, these could not be seen. He could understand the halo, but the label had a Yaoguang junior master uncle. Is he bound to become a member of the Yaoguang Holy Land? After all, even the label was marked, but there is one thing that Zixiao has always been puzzled about. He knows that he has traveled into the book and become the eldest brother of the Tianxian Holy Land, and will have a relationship with Mo Yuxiang, Luo Tingxian, and Lin Yi, but in the plot he knows, there is no other Holy Land at all. They are basically just background boards. Sui Yuanfei, the son of destiny, has never appeared, and then think about Sui Yuanfei's attitude towards himself. Is this not another book? Then what role am I in it? Junior Master of Yaoguang Holy Land? What's wrong? Is the injury serious? That just as Zixiao was talking to himself, a slightly concerned and gentle voice sounded. Zixiao raised his head, and Piao Miao was looking at him with eyes like autumn water at this time, and hurriedly said, Senior Piao Miao, the boy's injury is actually not a big deal, let the boy. How is that possible? Piao Miao interrupted Zixiao before he finished speaking, and then her jade hand shone with a burst of light. In the light, there seemed to be a mysterious power flowing, making people feel a strong and mysterious breath. Then, a burst of fragrance came, and the surrounding flowers, plants and trees suddenly grew wildly. You know, the flowers and plants that can be planted in this holy land of cultivation must be exotic flowers and plants. Ordinary people can prolong their lives just by smelling the fragrance of medicine, can make these exotic flowers and plants suddenly. Things that grow quickly are definitely rare treasures. Especially Zixiao can clearly feel that the vitality in his body is surging more and more. All things are full of vitality, and the Tao rhyme in the light is still there. Could it be? At this moment, an old voice came out from the light. The rosy cloud slowly dissipated, and Zixiao finally saw clearly that what Piao Miao was holding was a grass. The emerald green grass swayed in the wind, and it seemed to be no different from ordinary weeds. However, there seemed to be a human face on the rhizome of the grass. It seemed that it was this grass that was yawning. Young man, what are you looking at? Needless to say, I know that you want me, the ancestor, to treat your injuries, right? The grass said disdainfully. Senior, what is this? Zixiao's tone was a little surprised. Facing Zixiao's doubts, Piao Miao nodded. Yes, this is the Emperor's medicine. That Emperor's medicine? Really got it? Hiss, Zixiao took a breath of cold air. He had already guessed it when he heard the grass speak, and the Tao rhyme and medicinal fragrance lingering around it, but he was still a little surprised to hear Piao Miao admit it himself. You know, the reason why the imperial medicine is called the imperial medicine, in addition to its powerful medicinal power, is that ordinary people can't find it at all. After all, it was born with its own spiritual wisdom, relying on its own powerful medicinal power, either cultivating the Tao or hiding deep in the forbidden area of the mountain. Even if it is the supreme, it will never get this imperial medicine without paying a certain price. Piao Miao had already given him a holy medicine before, and now he got the imperial medicine for him. This is sure to eat him. Thinking of this, Zixiao felt a little numb on his scalp, and quickly refused. Senior, my injury is really fine. You should keep this imperial medicine for yourself. Hearing this, Piao Miao teased, didn't you call me master before? Now there is no danger, why do you call me senior? This. Zixiao scratched his head awkwardly, I recognized the wrong person at that time, I thought you were my former master. Well, it seems that you really quit the sect. In this case, little guy, please become my disciple. As he spoke, Piao Miao flicked his jade fingers, and a cup of tea slowly floated in front of Zixiao. I have even prepared tea for you. I have never accepted an apprentice, so there is no need for so many red tape. Just drink the tea you handed over, and I will accept you as my apprentice. Piao Miao's beautiful eyes blinked twice, completely different from the cold look when facing the enemy. Chapter 48. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were so busy that they had to wait for the next few days. Senior, I think. I'm thirsty, why don't you give me some tea? It's like this, I've blocked the surrounding space, and the boundary-breaking talisman can't be used. This. Do you still want to recover your spiritual power? That whenever Zixiao wanted to say something, Piao Miao would interrupt. It was obviously a gentle and mature expression, but Zixiao could see the pink and black on her face. This didn't let people speak at all, and the teacup floating in the air was almost hitting her face. Seeing that there was no way to end it peacefully, Zixiao took a deep breath and then took the teacup with both hands. Seeing this scene, Piao Miao smiled gently, her eyes full of admiration. If she didn't admire Zixiao, how could she force him to be her apprentice? After all, if a supreme being wants to accept a disciple, the whole universe will be shaken. Just like Piao Miao said before, the 3 books of heaven, earth and man are destined to her, and if she gets the 3 books, she can become her apprentice, and all the forces, big and small, are crazy. Zixiao did not directly offer the tea to Piao Miao at this time, but said in a deep voice, Senior, I think you have heard about my previous deeds. I don't know why, it seems that someone has been targeting me. It seems that I am possessed by bad luck. In the sect, I am afraid that it won't take long for my reputation to be stinking, just like before in Tianxian Holy Land. If I really worship you as my master, I hope that when that day comes, you can let me go. Zixiao has already thought about it. After all, there is a supreme being staring at him outside, and Yaoguang Holy Land is indeed the best place for him at present. There was one more thing, that is, he wanted to figure out what kind of role he played in this Yaoguang Holy Land. The label of the villain was still hanging in his label column. He and Zui Yuanfei, the son of destiny, not only did not dislike each other, but he almost turned him into his little fanboy. The occurrence of these things made Zixiao more confused. If he could figure it out, even if he left the Yaoguang Holy Land in the future, he would know where to go, right? Zixiao was waiting for the other party's answer. In order to play the play more realistically, his deep eyes even took on some vicissitudes. Suddenly, Piao Miao took a step forward, and before Zixiao could say anything, he was pulled into his arms. Zixiao was almost knocked unconscious by the terrifying majesty. It was too terrifying to feel it personally, and he couldn't recover for a while Zixiao was enlightened there. Piao Miao's voice sounded, little guy, you have suffered a lot. Right? It must be uncomfortable to be wronged, but you don't have to worry about it when you come to me. Don't say you haven't done those things. Even if you have, you are still my disciple. After a long time, you will know that our sect, the connotation of the sect is different from that of other holy places, and no matter how big a thing you have done, I will bear it for you. Listening to what Piao Miao said, Zixiao hit his head deeply, as if he was aggrieved. However, if someone was next to him, they would definitely see the slightly raised corners of Zixiao's mouth. After a long time, Piao Miao loosened his arms. Seeing the mark on his Taoist robe, Piao Miao looked at Zixiao with interest. It seems that my disciple is not very honest. Hearing this, Zixiao's old face blushed, and he quickly handed over the teacup with both hands. Disciple Zixiao, meet the master. Piao Miao smiled gently, and then gently took the teacup with her jade hand. After drinking your tea, I am your master. From now on, we will go together and return together. After that, Piao Miao drank the tea in the teacup. Then he delivered the imperial medicine directly to Zixiao's hands. Master, I really don't need this imperial medicine. I have my own way to treat the wound. Be obedient. Zixiao wanted to refuse the imperial medicine, but Piao didn't give him a chance at all. Her eyebrows were slightly frowned. Do you want to disobey your master on the first day? Disciple dare not. Zixiao took back the imperial medicine angrily. Hey! Boy, I'm talking to you. I can actually treat your injury without you needing me. Why don't you let me go and I'll exchange a few dozen holy medicines for you? Speak. The master and the disciple didn't seem to take the emperor's voice seriously. Piao gave Zixiao a detailed introduction to the Yaoguang, Holy Land, especially Zixiao's current status as a junior master. When your wounds are healed, go meet those junior brothers, they really admire you. I'm a demon, what's there to admire? Zixiao smiled bitterly and shook his head. It seemed that he remembered the contrast when he was in Tianxian Holy Land. At the beginning, he was the eldest brother who was loved by everyone. In the end, not to mention that everyone wanted to beat him, after all, they didn't have the courage, but no matter who saw Zixiao, the disgust and fear in their eyes could not be hidden. This is why in the end, Zixiao would block himself in the Holy Sun Peak. It doesn't matter what your reputation is outside, the important thing is that those little guys are very curious about you. You should go and see it if you have a chance. Also, this Taiji Palace will be your residence in the future. This is a rare generosity of the little stingy Saint Lord, so you don't have to be polite. Oh, Zixiao was indeed a little surprised, although he didn't know what this Taiji Palace symbolized in Yaoguang Holy Land. However, the vigorous spiritual energy around and the faint Taoism in the hall made Zixiao understand that this Taiji Hall was definitely not an ordinary thing. This Taiji Hall is also a magic weapon. The reason why it is called Taiji is because the Holy Lord gave it. You can change the name yourself. The spiritual core in the center of the hall is the mechanism that controls the hall. Thank you, Master. Zixiao bowed hurriedly. Snap. Piao stretched out her jade finger and gently flicked Zixiao's forehead, smiling and saying, You are my disciple, remember, you don't need to be so polite to your master. Zixiao nodded. He seemed to see Mo Yuxiang, who had always taken care of him when he was a child, in Piao. At that time, Mo Yuxiang was indeed conscientious and responsible. I don't know when the two became more and more distant. What's wrong? Do you remember your former master? Piao's slightly teasing voice brought Zixiao back to his senses. How could that be? It was my own choice to leave the sect. That's good, little guy, don't forget, from today on, you are my disciple. If you still have other masters in your mind, I will be jealous. Faced with Piao's teasing, Zixiao smiled bitterly and shook his head, indicating that he would not. He also didn't know whether this cheap master he worshipped this time was mature or childish. It seemed that he would only show his cold fairy-like side when facing the enemy. Chapter 49. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two chatted again about the Yaoguang Holy Land. Piao left, and before leaving, he specifically told Zixiao to remember to take the imperial medicine. Entering the Taiji Hall, there was indeed a spiritual core in the center of the hall. Zixiao walked forward and placed his hand on the spiritual core. Buzz. The faint light enveloped him, and he also felt all the information of the hall. This is a special holy weapon. As the name suggests, a holy weapon is a magic weapon of the saint. Level. Magic weapons and skills have similar levels of division. Huangxian Diqian Xingzuan Emperor and the legendary Immortal, the holy weapon is already a very powerful magic weapon. The reason why this Taiji Hall is special is because of its hard material, which is not inferior to the supreme weapon. If you use this hall to hit people, it would be really tie pants. But Zixiao is a little depressed about this special magic weapon. The burial heaven technique can allow him to summon a black coffin, and now there is this hall. When he fights with others, except for the growing black knife, it seems that there is no real magic weapon. Feel the fluctuation in the spirit core. The magic of this Taiji Hall is that in addition to being able to shrink it and suppress it in the spirit platform, it can also change its shape at will. Thinking of the memories of the previous life, Zixiao began to continuously construct the entire hall. Rumble. Just like the transformation of Transformers, the entire Taiji Hall was shrouded in a halo and constantly changing. After a long time, it finally calmed down, and the Taiji Hall was completely changed. The palace is towering into the clouds, majestic and solemn. The palace is bright with golden light and surrounded by clouds and mist, as if you are in a fairyland. The pillars of the palace are thick and majestic, with exquisite patterns carved on them, and the patterns of the 4 ancient sacred beasts are carved on them. A huge canopy hangs on the ceiling, gorgeous silk flutters in the wind, and the ground is paved with smooth jade, reflecting Zixiao's slender and handsome figure. In the front is a high throne, it is inlaid with pearls and gems, shining with dazzling light, golden seats, and real dragon carvings, just like the emperor's dragon chair in the secular world, but the difference is that this throne is surrounded by a trace of Tao rhyme. It can be said to be like the Emperor of Heaven. The words on the plaque outside the palace have also changed, from the original Taiji Hall to Lingxiao Hall. After the palace was completely renovated, Zixiao walked up to the highest throne and sat down. Sure enough, immediately, there was a feeling of looking down on all the mountains. If there were 2 rows of monks standing below, it would be like a big villain. Zixiao spread his hands, and accompanied by a burst of medicinal fragrance, he took out the imperial medicine from the storage space. Hey! Boy! Where did you let me go just now? It's so scary. Are you going to kill me? The imperial medicine started yelling as soon as it came out. Indeed, the storage space was given by the system. Although it cannot store living things, the imperial medicine obviously does not belong to this category. Zixiao stuffed the other party into the storage space just to do an experiment. Old man, you talk too much nonsense. Don't you have any intuition as a medicine? Zixiao said disdainfully. What? The Emperor Medicine's tone was full of anger. Let me go if you dare. If it weren't for the seal on my body, you, a mere distraction stage, would want to control me? Are you kidding? Enough, enough. Stop making noise. Zixiao scratched his ears and said nonchalantly, do you really think I want you? You are just a broken Emperor Medicine. If you behave yourself, maybe I can still keep your mind. If you don't behave yourself, don't blame me. Hee hee. The Emperor Medicine sneered twice and continued, boy, you got one thing wrong. Although I am the Emperor Medicine, that woman obviously doesn't know much about Emperor Medicine. My true body is sword grass. If I don't actively cooperate with you, boy, you can't absorb me. Oh, originally, Zixiao didn't have much interest in this Emperor Medicine, but when he heard that the other party was sword grass, he immediately became interested. Eye of insight. Buzz, accompanied by the light flashing in his pupils, the detailed information of the Imperial Medicine also appeared in his eyes. Imperial Medicine, 8-leaf sword grass, continuously upgrading. 8-leaf sword grass, born with the sword, 1 leaf, 1 world. When it becomes the 9-leaf sword grass, it will transform itself into a fairyland sword grass, and then use the sword to enter the Tao and practice independently. However, the leaves of the sword grass are fixed and cannot be promoted later. If it cannot be promoted later, then what is the matter with this continuous promotion? Zixiao looked at the sword grass in front of him with some surprise. The latter was a little scared by the gaze, and even the leaves began to tremble slightly. Moreover, this sword grass was born in response to the sword. Although it is an emperor, it should be classified as a spiritual object, and it is definitely not an Emperor Medicine. But the medicinal fragrance emanating from this sword grass clearly proves its identity as an Emperor Medicine. Has it mutated? No wonder it can be promoted continuously. Zixiao didn't know what kind of opportunity this sword grass had obtained, but since it was a sword grass, he would not be polite. Hee hee hee. Little sword grass, are you ready to be devoured by me? Boy, when Emperor Yao heard that Zixiao was going to devour it, he quickly said, have you forgotten what I just said? My body is a sword grass. If I don't actively cooperate with you, even if you swallow me, you will not be able to. Buzz, before Emperor Yao finished speaking, a strange aura suddenly emanated from Zixiao's body. One after another, black runes were spinning around him. Such a terrifying demonic aura. Aren't you a righteous cultivator? You are actually a demon cultivator. Emperor Yao was shocked by the demonic power emanating from Zixiao. Ha 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 ha, a righteous cultivator. When did I say I was a righteous cultivator? Zixiao showed a devilish smile on his face. I am a big villain, isn't it reasonable to know some magic skills? Don't worry, I don't need your cooperation. 8 desolate demonic skills. Turn for me. Roar. As if the ghosts and wolves howled from hell, the black runes on Zixiao's body began to gather continuously, until it became a huge black millstone. The millstone kept spinning in the air, emitting a world-destroying magic power. With each rotation, the millstone became deeper, the hall was full of magic power. If the hall had not been blocked by Zixiao at this time, I am afraid that all the people in Yaoguang Holy Land would feel this magic power. Wait. The 8-leaf sword grass clearly felt the power of the millstone, which must have the strength to crush it. In order to save its life, it didn't care whether it could transform into a spirit in the future. Chapter 50. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The sword grass was so angry that it kept dancing with 8 leaves, and the Tao rhyme of the sword was constantly emanating. I still like your unruly look before. Zixiao said seriously. Don't. I promise, I will heal your Tao injury, you just need to put me in your Qi Si, and then your sword will definitely reach the pinnacle. In order not to be crushed, the sword grass even wanted to actively integrate into Zixiao's body, if it is really fully cooperated. Just as the sword grass said, Zixiao's sword strength will definitely be no worse than any peerless genius. After all, the 8-leaf sword grass itself is an emperor level. In addition, it is a mutated 8-leaf sword grass, and maybe one day it will be upgraded to a 9-leaf sword grass in Zixiao's Qi Si. Faced with such conditions, Zixiao still smiled and shook his head, let alone whether he wants to follow the sword path. Just putting this sword grass in the Qi Si is something Zixiao can't bear. There is suddenly an old man in the Qi Si, and it can't be closed at any time like the system. Wouldn't it be a live broadcast in places like Qinfeng Tower in the future? Although Zixiao is thick-skinned, he is narrow-minded, so he absolutely cannot agree to the sword grass's proposal. Moreover, the sword grass, isn't it good to use it as a weapon? A grass cuts off the sun, moon, and stars. The sword grass came into being with the sword path, and it has the legendary grass sword formula in its body. This is also one of the reasons why the 8-leaf sword grass can become an emperor level. Okay, have you finished talking? Old man, I'll send you off. Zixiao's eyes condensed, and he ignored the wailing of the sword grass and slammed it hard with the black world-destroying millstone. Buzz, the whole hall was filled with the fragrance of medicine. The moment the sword grass hit the millstone, the sword splashed a lot of juice. After evaporating, the juice directly turned into wisps of spiritual energy and invaded Zixiao's body, constantly repairing his sequelae of using the burial heaven technique. The emperor medicine is worthy of being the emperor medicine. The terrifying Taoist injury has begun to recover slowly under the influence of the emperor medicine's spiritual power. The huge medicinal power also rushed straight into Zixiao's sea of qi. If it weren't for his desperate suppression, this would make him a saint on the spot. But if that were the case, it would be too superficial and his state of mind would not be able to keep up, so Zixiao washed all the medicinal power on himself and constantly condensed the original demon body and the ancient double pupil. After an unknown amount of time, Zixiao's eyes burst into a burst of blue light. The light lasted for a moment and then disappeared, and Zixiao returned to normal. At this time, in addition to an illusory Lingxiao palace, there was also a sword grass in his spiritual platform. Of course, the mind in the sword grass has been completely removed. Now it has become a dead object, but at the same time, Zixiao has obtained the grass sword formula and an emperor weapon without intelligence. If the 8-leaf sword grass can continue to upgrade, he will have an immortal weapon in the future. Finally succeeded. Feeling the power of the early stage of the fusion realm in his body, Zixiao clenched his fist. The huge medicinal power still allowed him to break through 3 small realms and reach the fusion realm. There was no way, the medicinal power could not be completely suppressed. The Tao injury has also been completely recovered. It must be said that the emperor medicine is indeed powerful, and I owe this master a great favor. Even for a strong man in the supreme realm, it is not so easy to get the imperial medicine, right? Zixiao didn't know what Piao Miao had paid to get the imperial medicine, but he was a man who would remember the kindness of others for thousands of years. He would repay this favor. Uncle Master, not just when Zixiao was still consolidating his realm, a voice came from outside the hall. Hearing this voice, Zixiao was very upset. The son of destiny, Sui Yuanfei, this kid is really obsessed with me, isn't he? Zixiao waved his hand, and the restrictions in the hall disappeared directly. Sui Yuanfei walked in slowly, and when he saw Zixiao on the throne, he was stunned at first, and then his eyes were full of heat. Uncle Master, I heard from the Supreme Elder that you finally agreed to join the sect. That's great. Zixiao looked at the not-so-smart son of destiny in front of him, and was also speechless. Buddy, you are the child of destiny, I am the villain. Is it really okay for you to be so close to me? But even if I think so in my heart, I definitely can't say it out loud. Brother Zhua, just call me Zixiao, How can that be? Before Zixiao finished speaking, Sui Yuanfei interrupted him, and then said seriously, before, I had no problem calling you Brother Dao, but now you have become the direct disciple of the Supreme Elder, that is, my uncle. Don't mess up the generations. Okay, just be happy. Do you have something to ask me? Uncle Junior, it's like this, the Holy Lord wants to introduce you in front of all the disciples, so he asked me to pick you up. The Holy Lord Yaoguang. Come to think of it, he directly gave me the Lingxiao Palace. If I don't give him face, it would be not good. Thinking of this, Zixiao stood up from the throne. Let's go, I'll go with you. Yes, Uncle Junior. Sui Yuanfei looked at Zixiao with respect and passion. After the two of them walked out of the Lingxiao Palace, they boarded the flying boat. Although Zixiao was already able to fly, in order to show respect, the Yaoguang saint still asked Sui Yuanfei to drive the flying boat to greet them. The flying boats flying in the sect are not like those in the outside world. They are small in size, but the decorations are extremely gorgeous. After all, they are all used to welcome guests, so the speed is not important. After the two of them boarded the flying boat, Sui Yuanfei used his spiritual power to control the flying boat to rush away. The main hall of the Yaoguang Holy Land, there are already tens of thousands of disciples in the hall, and all the high-level members of the Holy Land are present. These are the core disciples and the direct disciples. As for the inner and outer disciples, they watched the situation in the hall through the image crystal. The Yaoguang saint sat in his seat at this time with a smug look on his face. The Supreme Elder Piao Miao had personally told him before that Zixiao had become his junior brother as he wished. His Yaoguang Holy Land is going to stand up. You know, the sect competition is coming soon, and the young people from all sects will gather here. Although they are all righteous, there will be competition, and some rebellious people will inevitably cause trouble. If the young people of Yaoguang Holy Land cannot dominate the whole field, then they will be embarrassed as the organizer. If Zixiao is there, it will be completely different. Although he cannot represent Yaoguang Holy Land in the battle, after all, his seniority is there, but when he stands there, he is an absolute peak for any young person. Which young person can fight against the Holy King with a split spirit? He also has ancient double pupils and a powerful mysterious physique. How can Yaoguang Holy Land lose this time? Big brother, can you stop smiling so obscenely? The disciples are all watching. Look at yourself, your face is cracked like a chrysanthemum.